I hope you're enjoying our brand new show series where I take you along with me as I cook in real life. And today, I'll be testing out a vegetarian chili with summer vegetables from the Food Network magazine again. And originally, I wasn't all that interested in this recipe because I figured it would just be a chili with no meat and a bunch of beans. But then I saw that you actually make your own faux meat by grating tofu. Say what? I mean, now that sounds interesting. So if you want to come along with me and see how I tackle a recipe for the first time, then keep on watching. What's up, universe? It's Julie, your kitchen coach, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm a trained chef who's passionate about helping beginner cooks gain confidence in the kitchen. And what better way to do that than to break down a recipe and take you along with me as I tackle it for the first time. So I'm going to be doing this vegetarian chili that happens to be right next door to the recipe that I just previously did. Left it over there for you. But originally I kind of skipped over this one too until I did look at the test kitchen notes. It's this darn test kitchen notes that gets me every time. But sometimes you need that little boost, like an explanation of why you need to try a recipe. If you see over here, you make your own faux meat, which is your own fake meat using tofu. And that makes a lot of sense because it's protein and a lot of restaurants do that too. It's a good meat replacement or substitute. And it is bland, but it does absorb everything like a sponge. So I could see how it'd be interesting. Truth be told, I am a bit skeptical though, so we'll see how that goes. That's kind of like what intrigued me. That along with using eggplant. So I was like, ooh, eggplant in a chili? That's new. And then these are two ingredients that I had to actually go out and purposely buy because I just didn't have it. But you know what? When you're trying a recipe out for the first time, you gotta go with what it says if it seems like it's important. And it seemed like it was. Like it felt like these would be the flavor elements. So it looks like you need diced fire roasted tomatoes. You need a 28-ounce can. I don't have that, so I have two of these guys, the 14.5 ounces. And then you need kidney beans in a mild chili sauce. But I didn't find it anywhere. I just found it in a spicy chili sauce, but that could be exciting. We're gonna give that a try. You need fire roasted corn, but where the heck do I find that? I couldn't find that. I just have regular canned corn and we're just gonna go with that. Let's get pulling all those ingredients. You know, I am a little surprised to not see any peppers in this chili recipe. I just assumed there'd be like bell peppers, like green bell peppers, things like that. Nope, and I don't even see garlic. Isn't that a crime? So you need a small eggplant. You guys, the sticker on this eggplant is on here with the jaws of life. Like I've never seen a more stubborn sticker before. I'm like using the double thumb action now. The first thing you want to do when you think you've grabbed all your ingredients is to quickly read through your recipe to make sure that you're not missing an important step and that you also don't have so much downtime. If there's something that needs to be on the stove right away, I kind of go do that first. In this case, it doesn't seem like it. I feel like you need to chop everything before you put it on the stove. So we're gonna do that. One small eggplant chopped. I think how thick or thin or small your eggplant pieces are is all relative. Like I can't really see any instructions for that. I wish sometimes recipes were more specific about that. I try to be in mine, like I'll say like 1/2-inch dice or 1-inch dice or something. Don't quote me on that if you find a recipe of mine that doesn't say that. So in this case, I'm just assuming bite size. At first I thought adding eggplant to this chili was interesting and maybe even a little bit weird, but then it totally makes sense because like tofu, it is a sponge and it absorbs flavor. And it's kind of meaty, kind of like the concept of mushrooms. And sidebar, no, I am not vegetarian, but I know a lot of you guys who watch our channel are. So every now and then I try to like do one for you. I also thought the concept of this recipe was interesting too, because it's like chili in the summertime. Like you always think of chili in the wintertime or when it's cold weather. It says add the onion and eggplant together. So we'll just put them all together on one plate. If not, I would have gone through the trouble and had more dishes to clean by separating them, because sometimes the order of when you put something in a pot matters. I've been using this Kyocera knife, the ceramic one, a lot lately. And you can tell, like I'm not joking, it stays sharp forever. I've been using it for like every meal. It's a good starter knife if you're a beginner cook. I'm like staring at this with like eagle eyes to make sure there absolutely is no garlic, because by instinct I just pulled it out, my cheating garlic. You know what? I was wrong, there's garlic. I don't know how I skipped over that this whole time. It's like my eyes were blurry and I couldn't see. It says 3 cloves of garlic right there. Good job, Julie. I call this my cheating garlic because it's from the Korean market and it comes pre-peeled, so people don't have to peel it themselves. And it looks like you stir in the garlic with the chili powder and cumin and cook together. So I had it on the plate, but I'm just gonna put it in the bowl instead. So I need 4 teaspoons of chili powder. 1, 2, and then 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. So I'm gonna use the other end. That doesn't seem like a lot of cumin or chili powder for this recipe, especially with all these vegetables, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna grab my 2 cups of water to have it ready. And then crack open my cans. So I'm gonna eventually need this corn, so we'll just do that. Here are the kidney beans in spicy chili sauce. Hopefully it's not too spicy. I mean, it might be, so then that means Lincoln won't be able to eat it. And these are diced and fire roasted tomatoes. So they're not regular diced tomatoes, they have a little bit more flavor. Heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a large wide pot. So I'm gonna use my Dutch oven. 1, 2. So then add the onion and eggplant, and a big pinch of salt, and a few grinds of pepper. Cook, stirring occasionally until the vegetables are lightly brown, starting to soften, about 6 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead and drain my corn while I'm waiting, because I'm gonna have to do that. So I guess if it was fire roasted, it would probably be like in the frozen section, I'm assuming, or maybe they have it in the can too. It's important to read the directions carefully, because I almost missed this, where you're supposed to grate the tofu on the large holes of a box grater. You know, I mentioned how important a box grater is in this video. So check that out. And it's important not only for cheese, but for moments like this, who would have known? It says to grate it in a clean kitchen towel. And specifically it says not terry cloth. I guess it'll just be like a hot mess. I could imagine that. Clean, non-terry cloth, non-sticky kitchen towel. It says 1 14-ounce block of firm tofu. I'm just gonna give this a rinse. And did you know that it is important to put in that big sprinkle of salt, because salt draws out moisture from eggplant and the onions, so that will help it to sweat as opposed to burn and char. So we're gonna grate this on a box grater. And it's important to use firm, because if it's soft, it'll just like crumble too much. This feels oddly nice. Oh my gosh, was that 6 minutes already? Time flies. It says stir in 1 more tablespoon of olive oil. So, and I believe what we're doing is we're blooming the spices. So I'm just gonna create a little well. I mean, this doesn't say it to do that, but it just makes sense to me. Put it in here. And when you toast up your spices in oil and bloom it, it releases more fragrance and flavor. So I'm gonna do that for a little bit and then incorporate it into the rest of my veg. You're gonna stir in your 2 cups of water. Add in tomatoes. Look at that fire roasted goodness. I could see how that would add a nice smoky flavor. Beans. These are the kidney beans and spicy. Chili sauce should be mild, but we'll see. 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So I'm just gonna eyeball that. And a few grinds of pepper. It says cover, bring to a boil. So that's what we will do. Back to the shredding, and like I said, for some reason, this is oddly satisfying. You have to do it for yourself to know what I'm saying. It's like almost like if I had a stressful day, I'd want to come home and grate some tofu. Okay, the big reveal. Nice, like mozzarella cheese. Got tofu on my toe. Grab your kitchen towel and milk it. Looks like I'm making soy milk. It says to wring the tofu dry. I really don't want to crumble it up to nothing and turn it into tofu paste, and I'm afraid it might turn into that. The next step is to saute it in a nonstick pan so that it doesn't crumble away to nothing and it gets a little crisp. I think that'll help save the day, but with all the extra moisture in there, it might not turn as crisp, so I'm gonna try to follow. You know what, I think I'm gonna stop here just because I don't want to mush it down to nothing. Gonna reuse this bowl because why dirty up another bowl? Let's see. Oh wow, looks good. We're gonna grab a nonstick pan. Also, this is coming up to a boil, so the next step is to uncover it and reduce it to a simmer. Okay, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons, 1, 2 olive oil. We'll let that heat up. Joe, what do you think? Is this smelling good?
It is.
Give it a stir. Wait, how long does this simmer for? Let me see. About 15 minutes. In goes the tofu. Guys, look at me, what I'm doing so that you can see it properly in the camera. Like, who does this when they're cooking? It says add the tofu, spreading it out, stirring once or twice for about 4 to 5 minutes. It looks like all I need are avocado, cheese, cilantro, and corn chips. At first when I read the instructions, I was like, oh, tortilla chips, but nope. They mean like Fritos corn chips. So I grabbed me some Fritos. Gotta do it as the original says. It says some shredded Mexican style cheese, like as in taco cheese, not like the real Mexican style. Okay, some avocado. And then I have cilantro that I just rinsed and spun dry in a salad spinner. And I did the whole thing because I like to just keep it cleaned and prepped for future use, because then I'll know that I'll use it for other applications and it won't go to waste. I think for this, I just need some cilantro leaves, and then the rest of it, I'll wrap up in a paper towel and keep it in a Ziploc bag. Then we need to check on our tofu, guys. My first time flipping it, we'll see. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. What do you think? I could see why they recommend using a non-stick pan so it doesn't burn. And at this point, there's no seasoning on the tofu, but it does say to sprinkle it with salt later. So I think salt would make the moisture come out of it. It wouldn't turn as crisp and brown. So stick to what the recipe says. I'm just crumpling it up, I don't know, I feel like that's what you should do. You know what, while I'm here, I might as well stir this pot too. Look at my 2 spatulas I got going. I don't know if it's the chef in me, but I really don't like to have downtime where you're just like stagnant, not doing anything, like you're not chopping, there's like just stuff going on the stove, but you're like just twiddling your thumbs. So I always like to time it regardless of how the recipe's written so that you're always actively doing something and so the elements can all be done together at the right time. If you've been enjoying this style of filming and this type of video, our new show series, give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so you know when a next video like this one comes up. What I like to do with my washed and dried herbs, I usually do this when I first come home from the grocery store, but I got a little lazy this time around. These are nicely washed and dried so they're not too wet. And I just wrap them in a paper towel. And I grab my Sharpie. See, I always have a Sharpie and painter's tape in the kitchen. Clean up so you're not a mess. And And if you have a lot of downtime, make sure you do some dishes too while you have the chance. Got some corn chips. One more stir. So this is only the second time that I've tossed this. So I pretty much left it alone while keeping an eye on it. See, it's starting to get a little brown in some spots because I was ignoring it. So maybe yours won't turn as brown, but I can see how nicely stiff and crumbly it is. I'm gonna season with salt and pepper, just like you would do ground beef. Start the flavor addition now. It looks like I have 10 seconds left on the clock for the chili. And I think that actually is pretty accurate because it's looking nice and thick if you take a look over here. Right? There you go. Let's see. Stir the tofu and corn into the chili. Oh, and heat through 5 minutes. Oh, right. Okay. I guess so that this gives it an opportunity to absorb. The corn, and again, this would be better with fire roasted corn. You could see how that would add that smoky touch. It says thin the chili with water if needed. I actually feel like it does need it, so I'm gonna do that. Like I want it to be thick, but not like porridge. There goes my timer. And it says to give a last seasoning of salt and pepper. And normally you should probably taste it to know. I'm just gonna go like this and just go with it because I really want to have my first taste be on camera. Mine looks pretty similar. I'm just gonna add in the cheese and cilantro. That really adds that vibrant pop of green that I think is necessary. And if you're not a cilantro fan, you could always substitute with green onions. That'd be really good. Some avocado. And then the corn chips on top as like a final crunchy garnish. I don't know about you, but that looks pretty good. What do you think? The only irony about filming this today is like we chose the hottest day to film this hot chili recipe.
But it smells so good.
Does it? I can't even smell it anymore, honestly.
It smells so good.
That's really good.
It is really good.
You know what? It doesn't taste like chili to me. Does it to you?
It has the taste of the chili. I think it might be a little watery, but yeah, it tastes like chili to me.
Well, I mean, maybe to you. I'm saying to me it doesn't. It tastes like vegetable soup, but like really good vegetable soup.
I think the combination of the two, actually.
It actually tastes very similar to my autumn vegetable stew. Do you remember that, oldie? Leave a link for you. It tastes very similar. And you know what? I use eggplant in that one too, actually. And I mean, I guess it makes sense with like the tomato and stuff. But you guys, this is really, really tasty. What do you think of it with the corn chips and stuff?
It goes well together.
This is our legit actual lunch break right now. We have to, I'm actually hungry. We have to film a couple more videos after this, but. And you know, I'm using the spicy chili sauce, but it's not all that spicy. So, I mean.
Good combination.
I don't think Lincoln can handle it, but I would recommend it. I think in the recipe that I leave for you on chefjulieyoon.com, I'll leave a link for you down below with this actual recipe along with some of my notes. You know, I'll add that. I would actually recommend the spicy chili sauce because it adds a little pop. It gets my Chef Julie Yoon stamp of approval.
I feel like I'm in in Arizona or something. It's like hot outside, but then brings that southwestern flavor.
Yeah, that's true. This is really, really good, guys. Not that I'm like surprised in the sense that, oh, because like it's vegetarian, it'll be bland. It's not that. Like, I actually really enjoy vegetarian food. This would be great for meatless Mondays, but I was just skeptical with like the blandish type of ingredients like tofu and eggplant. Once again, it's the Food Network June 2020 issue, and I'll leave the link for you down below in case you can't find it online, along with my notes and adjustments, but I didn't really adjust much. It came out good as it is. I would make this again, definitely, for sure.
when it's a little bit cooler outside.
Yeah, I think for the winter and fall, this would be perfect.
This will be really good.
I think like your guests would love it, honestly. So I hope you enjoyed coming along, cooking with me and seeing how I would tackle it in real life. Sweaty face, hot kitchen. Also, you don't know this, but like our camera died like a million times while filming this. It was like a lot of issues. Well, thanks so much for watching. Make sure that you push like, leave a comment down below if you've been enjoying these videos so far. If you want to give this recipe a try. Subscribe to our channel and hit that bell so that you know whenever we post a new video like this one. Thanks so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The tofu does add a meaty texture. It's good.
I don't miss the meat at all. And I love meat.